Hello and welcome to episode 61 of Unemployed to Unstoppable. It was probably the penultimate episode of the series. I think we're about 8 games from the end of the season. Hopefully this will be the chance to get into another Champions League final. Hopefully it's another chance to win a Premier League. But let's update you on where we've been going, how we've been getting on, and what progress we've made since the double cup header in the last episode. And welcome back as ever on the competitions page. First thing to look at really is the Premier League. We're still top. We're only 2 points clear, but we do have a game in hand ahead of Arsenal. There's been a lot of switching about between Man City and Newcastle, who were our main threats initially at the start of the season. Arsenal have kind of emerged from nowhere and got themselves into the second spot. So it's good to have a little bit of competition. We've got to keep on going, 8 games, and see if we can push that points tally a bit higher and see how early we can secure a win. Champions League wise, we've got a relatively favourable draw against Borussia Dortmund into the quarterfinal. We've avoided Barcelona, PSG, Man City and Real Madrid, which I think were the big ones to look out for. I think we probably have the better of AC Milan, Chelsea and Borussia Dortmund. So seeing how that pans out in the semi-finals, if we get there, will be another step to look forward to. FA Cup wise, we've got a semi-final against West Brom to look forward to. Again, we're doing pretty good in that competition. If we can get through them, it's Arsenal or Chelsea in the final. And then Carabao Cup, obviously we've won. English Community Shield, we've won. I mean, the chance of winning all 5 is pretty slim. I think we'll get to the final of the FA Cup, and it's going to come down to fixture congestion and player fitness. I'd like to think we'll get to the semi-final of the Champions League. It depends who we get in the next round, and I think we've got enough about us to kind of emerge victorious in the Premier League. Looking at the Premier League, I mean, we've not got the top scorer, same old faces on there. Newcastle with 2 of the best players, and Erling Haaland as ever in there. I mean, we need him to retire really so we can start getting a look in at that position. Average rating wise, Alan Abelai is our best of the bunch. Again, really good top player, huge average ratings for us, solid at centre back, but we tend to use him at right back a lot because we've got some other players in there, and we were quite weak at right back, so that's a positive. And nothing else really in there other than yellow cards with Kravtsov, so quite an under the radar average performance. And I think it's because we're largely spread about the squad as a whole. When you take our goals, we've got Codriano as the front runner in that, but Medina's got 18, Mass has got 14, Bordenave and Finwayser, so a lot of them in double figures, so it's just a good spread around there. So that's how we're looking squad wise. In terms of average ratings, the best of the bunch is Abelai. Some usual suspects up there like Bordenave. Ignore Braun because he only played 1 game. He was good in that 1 game, but it doesn't really give you a full measure. Aidanando, who you haven't really seen much of, he signed towards the end of the last episode. He's come in as the first choice goalkeeper now. He's already made 8 Premier League appearances. He's had 4 clean sheets. He's got a good average rating, and he's settled in really nicely, so it just gives us a little bit more stability at the back. So looking from the back, we're fairly solid. Midfield, we're solid. Front, I would say we're pretty exceptional. It's just kind of full backs we really need to look to the future now. So that's how I really see this squad settling in. In terms of additional signings, we have made a couple. So we've already mentioned one in Aidanado. We've got Damir Sissar, who we previously mentioned as a youngster coming in. So a young centre-back. Brought him in relatively cheap, just for a few million. We've sent him out on loan at Middlesbrough just to give him some exposure, let him develop a little bit. But 19 years old, 191 centimetres tall, stats in the right positions, and a little bit of potential in there. We've just signed him on as a developmental player to either integrate him into the squad in the future if we can get him homegrown status. Otherwise, we'll just develop him and move him on for a bit of a profit. So that's the first one of the 2. And the other one who I'm actually a bit more excited about for 4.7 million is Pepe, young Spanish midfielder. I mean, his stats look phenomenal. We've let him stay at Alaves to finish off the season for a bit of development. And I know what you're going to say is long term, we're not continuing the save after the end of the season, really is. We might not get to see where he is, but what I'll do is once the season concludes, I'll do that age-old thing where we holiday away for a number of years and see where they are without us at the helm. So squad wise, looking good. Club vision wise, again, I think they're largely pleased with how we're getting on. Looking at the schedule since you were last with us, if I can find it, so there's the Brentford, Watford, Brentford West Brom double cup header. Followed that with 2-0 win against the Bournemouth. Codriano with 2. Beat West Brom, who we've got in the FA Cup semi-final. Beat them in the Carabao Cup second leg. Again, Medina, Codriano, massive in Wazer. Beat Leicester. We beat Rennes in the Champions League group phase. We've got a draw against Hertha Berlin, which was a little bit of a slip up, but towards that stage we were largely through. Oxford we struggled against really in the FA Cup fourth round, but we did get to a 3-2 win, so that's good. Tottenham we squeezed a 1-0 away win out. Codriano with a goal. We absolutely hammered Brighton 5-1. Medina with a hat-trick. Everton we beat 2-0 at home, quite comfortable. Newcastle, one of our main rivals, I'd love to have got a victory against them. We did take the lead in that match, but could only get away with a 1-1 draw. However, it meant we didn't lose any ground on them. Burnley, we beat them comfortably at home. Again, some of the usual suspects in there, Codriano, Mass and Bordenave. Newcastle we beat in the cup final. Endok and Indokamuna, he got the goal in a 1-0 win on the 27th minute. So that was kind of an in-betweenie. We've won that cup before, so we weren't really too concerned about it. Either you win or you don't, but it's another trophy in the cabinet. It gets a bit of prize money and prestige up there. FA Cup 5th round against Tottenham 3-1. Again, Vinweza, Medina, Mas. It looks more comfortable than it was. For a long time it was 1-1 towards the end of the game, and then Medina and Mas got 2 late goals to get us over the line. Man City, and this is the one blip, and what's really frustrating about this is they absolutely dominated us. They beat us 4-0, Haaland getting a hat-trick, Naipan getting a penalty. But what that means is the unbeaten season, which I was kind of letting go quietly under the radar, has gone. Massively frustrating. Something I don't think I've ever done, a fully unbeaten season. Again, let me know in the comment sections if you have. I think it's quite hard to do when you're rotating player fitness, etc. But that game, we just got absolutely done. Those eagle-eyed among you will spot that Jimmy Wong was in there. We did have quite a weakened side out there, but still to lose 4-0 was a bit of a hard one to take. Napoli, we got a 1-1 draw in the first leg, and then in the second leg we beat them 3-0, so it ended up being quite comfortable. Got a 3-1 win at Reading, a quarter-final win against Newcastle 2-1, again a 93rd minute winner. We went 1-0 up, they equalised, we got a real late winner. And then just before now we had a 0-0 draw at Chelsea, which 0-0 for us is quite a hard thing to pull off. We did have a couple back there, but we've got some really good attacking talent. And it's not often we don't score a goal, so a bit bizarre. So today's episode, we got a home game against Brentford, an away game against West Brom, and then after that, it's going to be a case of coming back for if we're in a cup final of anything at the end of the season, and kind of review the Unemployed to Unstoppable save as a whole. So stick around, I'll get us ready for the first of the 2 games, and we'll see if we can get another double-header win. And here we go for the game. So struggling for a few things, like Olander's gone out on loan, so we've not got him anymore. Vinwezer's got an injury, pulled thigh. Kravtsov suspended. Ollie Johnson, he's gone out on loan as well. And Medina's injured, so he's going to be out for 5 to 10 days. So really struggling bench-wise. What that means for today then is we've got Aydinado in goals. We've got Vinitsky at left back, Calderon and Aguilar at centre half. Abalai playing in at right back. We've got Aguilar in there. He was a young player we bought a couple of seasons ago. He's been out on loan. We've got him back now. He's fairly well developed. He's not too far away from being a Premier League player, so we'll get him in there and get him a bit of exposure. Then we've got midfield 3 of Indokamuna, Topologlu and Mas, and then we've got Kopp on the left, Janacek on the right, and Codriano up top. So a fairly weakened side, really. We do have other players on the bench. We're a bit tired, so Aliou, Goodwin, Cabas, Bordenave, and Shah, but we're going to have to give them a little bit of a rest as we try and stay strong towards the end of the season. So this game against Brentford is by no means a formality. I think it would be if we had a fully fit first team, but we're going to have to do this a couple players light and hope that the ones that have been introduced have a pretty good game and get us through. So we've gone with a positive approach because I think we have to go out and try and win and try and keep ahead at the top of the league. I know we've got the game in hand, but you can't count on them 3 points. As Codriano puts a early corner in, good header from Abalai, but just been tipped past the post. Under Kamuna, we'll have another shot from the other side, again over the bar. But 10 minutes in, promising we're getting a couple of corners and things, but you can see from the stats as well, Brentford are getting a couple of shots. But Abalai with a throwing down the right to Topologlu. And Kamuna breaking through from the edge of the box, and he's rifled one in with his left foot to put us a goal up. Lovely little bit of play from the right hand side. It's good to see some of the other players getting in there, like your Janaceks, etc. So he'll actually get that down as assist. So good for his stats as he moves in and develops as well. Because it would be fantastic to get one of the homegrown players established in the first team squad. That's something I like to do. And for those who haven't seen the other save, the Youth Intake Challenge, that's exactly what we're doing as we take Dulwich Hamlet from the depths of the English leagues as high as we can, only using the youth prospects, which is a challenge in itself. As the ball goes in for Codriano, he slots it home. It looks like he was offside. We'll just see what they say. Yeah, so it's been disallowed. We'll get to see. It was a lovely little through ball from Vinitsky. But yeah, you can see he's just gone marginally early. Still positive that we're on the ascendancy. Mass with a free kick from the edge of the box. Keeper didn't even move there. If he got it a little bit lower, it would have been just creeping in. And let me know as well, the Euros have started now. The first game was on last night, so Scotland took a bit of a beating against Germany. Germany looked quite sharp, actually. I thought their passing was particularly good in the little one-touch triangles they were doing. And Scotland a little bit unfortunate with the sending off, I think. It was a foul, it was a sending off, but I think he was forced into it through good German play. But it looked like we got it saved initially, but Brentford have got back into the game. I mean, that a bit open at the back there. Pilkington through, not really tracking the man in the middle. Good save initially by Adonado, make himself big. Vinitsky just clears it off the striker's head. So Yates gets a bit of a free goal. A bit frustrating. We'll get Ndukamuna off. We'll get Zek here on and see if we can get it in the second half and get our noses back in front. Again, it's not the end of the world. These games, if you only get a draw, if you get beat, it's not the end of the world, because you've got to bear in mind you've got your Kristen Kops and stuff on there. We are still resting players as we go along. We still Abalai's had to go off there. Shahar comes on again. Codriano looks like he's struggling up front. He probably won't see out of the game. There we go. Codriano for good win. So we've not got any of our main strikers on now. And what our front three have normally looking like with Bordenave, Codriano, and Medina is none of them are on there now. So it's looking a little bit light up top. But we will endeavour to take this point if we can just squeeze out and move on to the next game. So yeah, we should get some players back for the next game, make ourselves a little bit stronger. Reasonably content to escape with a draw. A bit unlucky that we gave away the one chance that they had, really, but I thought we were good enough for the 3 points overall. But again, we've still got a 3-point lead. We'll carry on going and we'll see how we get in the second match. So I'll click through, I'll get us ready. Hopefully we'll have a couple of players back to bolster us. A couple more will be fit to start the game and we can get back onto the winning trail. Welcome back for the second game, which is an away game at West Brom. Some players have come back from injury. We've had a large gap between the games. So we've got Aidanando in goals, Kopp at left back. We've got Aliou and Abalai at centre half. We've got Shahar at right back. Goodwin comes back in the centre of midfield alongside Topologlu and Mass. We've got Bordenave and Vinweza coming in on the wings, and Medina back to play all up front. Codriano carrying a little bit of fitness issues along with Ndukamuna and Cabas. But I think this team's much stronger than it was in the previous game, so I'm hoping that we can go on and dominate a little bit more than we were in the previous match and maybe pick up another 3 points again to get that title challenge back on track as we approach the final parts of the season. We'll just get through and into the game. So here we go, straight in, few minutes into the game, and we will see if the first chances fall our way or fall their way. I mean, it's always harder on the away games, but we're 10 minutes in. West Brom, who've caused us problems in the past, but Kopp with a throwing down the left hand side to Bordenave, back to Goodwin, drive from the edge of the box, and he puts us 1-0 up. Very similar to the previous match where we're up in that kind of 10 to 15 minute phase, midfielder driving in and slotting one in from just at the edge of the area. Again, Goodwin picking up the ball wide left, driving to the edge of the area and playing a low shot into the bottom right hand corner to put Millwall 1-0 up. And comfortable so far, but again, like the previous match, we were comfortable up until a point. Gave away a bit of a sloppy goal to let them back into it, and we weren't able to capitalise and get on that second goal that would have killed the game off. So hopefully this time round we can fix that hoodoo, get another goal, get us 2-0 up, get a little bit of a cushion and a buffer, which will enable us to rotate a couple more players as we approach the Champions League quarterfinals against Borussia Dortmund and kind of build on towards the end of the season as we reach the climax of the save in the next episode, which should be the final one of the series. Again, as I've previously mentioned, if anyone wants to see some of the other ones where we're using youth development only, there is a youth intake challenge where we've taken Dulwich Hamlet currently into first season in League 2, so we've had a couple of promotions along the way. That's taken us 10 seasons to get there, but if that's something you're interested in, relying on them youth intakes and the facilities you build at a club, it might be one worth just dropping your head into. 1-1 again then, so look, it's very similar to the previous game. Again, we get our noses in front, we let them back in the game. Now it's about showing the character to get our noses back in front again, but some good players in the West Brom side. Can we capitalise on this little chance here? If ball falls through Medina, it looks like it might be an offside unless it was the defender that put it through. It did look like there was an error. I thought if we'd have played the ball, he might well have been offside. Bordenave broke through, kind of ran into a bit of a cul-de-sac, but the ball bounced off a couple players, fed through to Medina. He takes a one-touch finish into the right-hand side to put us 2-1 up and restore the lead, which is what we couldn't do in the previous match. However, this time we have, and it's just a case of carrying it on towards the end of the game and trying to secure these 3 points. We will continue to play positive, though. I don't want to drop down to balanced too early and sit on the back foot, because I think we're more likely if we can get that second go ahead and get a bit of a buffer. But overall, not a terrible performance so far. However, we're not hitting the dizzying heights we were earlier in the season where we could have hit 3 or 4 in the same match. But let's keep going out there. Same players for the second half. I don't see any real need to make any changes. We're hitting the target. We're getting chances. We just need to get that all-important third goal to give us the buffer. So Shahar with a throw in down the right hand side to Manas. Finwayser chucks across the board. Nave again, only 6 yards out with a header. He should have probably done a little bit better. And Bordenave, who's been so consistent throughout, not just this season but last season as well. He's one of our reliable goal scorers. You would have thought in that position he would have been able to go on and finish it. But West Brom are growing back into the game. They are getting chances, so we need to make sure that, I mean, that's a wasteful ball, that inviting them on to create a chance. In it goes. Thankfully it's gone wide. But that kind of opportunity where we think we're looking reasonably comfortable, and I think I might actually drop down to balance. It might be a little touch too late because they've got a highlight just before. Mass couldn't clear the ball that time either. Kopp's got it. It's just sloppy. Kopp's not normally a left back, but Mass has ran into a cul-de-sac, and again we can't get off the ball out of our own half. Lorino with a chance now, and he's buried, and we could see it coming, giving the ball away cheaply in midfield. Kopp, not a natural left back, giving the ball away in some silly areas. Mass not handling the ball well enough up top, and relieving the pressure. We will go attacking and go encouragement for the last couple of minutes to see if we can just nick a winner as 6 minutes of injury time hits. And this is a massive dent to the title challenge as our game in hand has drifted away. And we should still be a point clear at the top regardless of what Arsenal do. But again, 2 draws. So previous match we got through in 2 cup games. I mean, that was a terrible performance. It could be that Codriano not being out there. We need to get back to that kind of Codriano, Medina, Bordenave formation up top. But 6 games to go, only a point clear. And that's Man City and Arsenal as well. So a long way to go. I'll be back in 6 league games time to probably tie in the final game of the season and hopefully some kind of cup final alongside it. To end the season and the series, so stick around, stay tuned, and next time hopefully we'll be finally unstoppable. But until then, enjoy your weekends, enjoy the Euros. Be interested to see who pushes on towards the final. We've all got our favourites. The opening game was a really good game to watch, and I'm going to go and jump in and watch some of the others. So until next time, take care, enjoy yourselves, and I'll see you soon.